Good evening, everyone. I am Kate Hetherington. I am one of the co-commissioners, and welcome to tonight's listening session. We're going to begin with some ground rules, and Kristen Fleckenstein will be providing those rules with us, and then I'll ask the co-chairs and the other commissioners to introduce themselves. So, Kristen, we'll begin with you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first regional public meeting of the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission. This meeting is being recorded. As we begin, there are a few matters to share regarding the rules and policies for this evening's meeting, as well as some tips about the platform that will assist our speakers in understanding how the Zoom platform will work. First of all, there's a 3-minute allotment for each speaker so that everyone who wants to speak can speak. When there are 20 seconds left of your speaking time, a screen share will come on with a countdown timer. Inappropriate speaking, attire, behavior, or background will result in removal from the meeting without the ability to rejoin. To avoid any confusion as to how to communicate a request to speak, we will not be answering any raised hands during this meeting. Rather, we ask that you ask to speak in the chat box, which we will get to in a moment. Anyone who registered to speak after 5 p.m. today should ask to join as a speaker in the chat section, as your name will not be on the list of pre-registered speakers. If you did not register to speak, but want to, you can request to do so in a message to the panelists via the chat feature. This is a control bar. There is a control bar at the bottom of your screen. You select the chat box and then send a message to the panelist indicating your name and county in which you reside. Speakers should ensure that the name listed in the attendees section of those participants, that your name is listed properly. If not, please change it to reflect your correct name. This is important because as a speaker is called to speak, we will move you from the attendee status to a panelist, and that is important so that we know who to select to move over. Pre-registered speakers will be called upon first, and then the chat request speakers will be called in order of request. Speakers providing testimony should be aware that they will be made a panelist, which will enable them to unmute and turn on your camera. There may be a short delay while the speaker's camera goes from attendee to panelist. This is normal. The speaker will see a screen message indicating that the host would like to promote you to be a panelist. You will need to accept by clicking the Join as a Panelist button. We will wait 5 seconds for the speaker to go live. If the speaker is unable to do that by that point, we will move to this next speaker and come back and call upon those who missed their chance to speak at the end. Once speakers are finished, we must move them back from a panelist to an attendee. This may result in the speaker seeing a spinning wheel or message on their screen indicate they are rejoining the meeting. The speaker is not being removed from the meeting. The Zoom platform is simply changing screens. So don't worry that you're being kicked out or don't click a bunch of different buttons. You're just being moved back to an attendee. We know that this is a lot of information for you all to understand how things work, but we wanted to make sure that this ran as smoothly as possible. On a final note, we are offering Spanish translation for this evening's meeting. You will note on the bottom of your control bar that there is an interpretation box. If you click on that and select Spanish, you will be able to then listen to a Spanish interpreter live, providing you in real-time Spanish interpretation. Because of that, we also ask that our speakers remember that there are CC live transcripts at the bottom for anyone who is joining us who may be hearing impaired. And so they will be the ones who will need those English subtitles. But if you need this event translated into Spanish, please click on that button at the bottom for interpretation and select Spanish. You will then have that live interpretation that you will be able to listen to. And with that, I'd like to reintroduce you to Dr. Kate Hetherington, who is one of our co-chairs of the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission. And with that, Dr. Hetherington.
Thank you so much, Kristen, and thank you for covering the myriad of details that it takes to put together the hearing. So thank you so much to you and your team. I am Kate Hetherington. I am president of Howard Community College and serving as one of the co-chairs of the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission. And I'd like the members of the commission to introduce themselves. And we'll start with the co-chairs and then we'll follow with the members, and I'm going to ask you to go in alphabetical order. So next I'll ask Walter. And tell us what you do, Walter. I'm sorry, not just your name, but what you do.
Okay, thank you, Kate. My name is Walter Olson. My day job is writing about law. I'm with the Washington think tank, and I live in Frederick County. And I've been on a couple of earlier redistricting commissions in Maryland.
All right, thank you. Judge?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Alex Williams, a retired judge. I'm from Prince George's County. And like Walter Olson said, he and I both served on two previous redistricting issues and commissions. So glad to have all of you here today, and I look forward to hearing your comments and observations.
Right, thank you, Judge. I didn't mention that I'm from Howard County, so thanks for that reminder when you mentioned your counties. We'll ask now the members to introduce themselves, begin with Jay.
Good evening, Jay Amin. I'm a development director with Maryland Land Advisors in Ellicott City, and I'm a resident of Anne Arundel County.
Thank you. And Cheryl?
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Brooks. I'm an elementary school principal in Baltimore County, and I'm also a resident and representative of Baltimore County. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mayor?
I'm Mary Clausen. I'm retired from the federal government, and I live in Anne Arundel County. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim?
Hi, I'm Kim Cummings, longtime resident of the Eastern Shore, live in Dorchester County. Currently, I'm with Dorchester County Circuit Court, the supervisor in the Land Records and Licensing Department.
Thank you. Jonathan?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Fussfield. I live in Montgomery County. I'm a communications manager for a research firm that's does contracting all over.
Thank you. And William?
Good evening. My name is William Thomas. I'm a senior system safety engineer working for the Department of Defense, and I'm a resident of Baltimore City.
All right. Thank you to all the commissioners, and thank you for your commitment to this work that we have ahead of us. I just wanted to remind the audience that this is the first round of the listening sessions. This is our listening tour, our virtual listening tour. As you heard, our commission cannot consider politically charged commentary or requests for specific legislators or congressional members. We have a schedule of upcoming meetings, which is available on the website. Pretty much it's every Wednesday night for the next 7 Wednesdays, with the exception of July 12th, which is on a Monday, and that is for Baltimore County. So feel free to check the website for information, which is at redistricting.commission@maryland.gov. And you can find a wealth of information on that website. So after we go through the listening tours, we will schedule 2 more rounds of tours, listening to and sharing information. One will happen when the data is received, and that can generate the public submitting maps once the data is finalized with prisoner reallocation, which at this point looks like October. And then once maps are drawn, we develop these regions based on just having a sufficient number of people represented in each and making it manageable for us to listen to the constituents, state constituents. That may change with, going forward to the next 2 rounds that we have. And any changes that we make, of course, would be available on the redistricting website. We probably going forward, depending on how things happen with the COVID-19, we'll have hearings that are in a hybrid fashion. So again, stay tuned. As conditions improve, hopefully we'll be able to provide that opportunity for in-person. But we also know that many people prefer hybrid, or online, I should say, and virtual. And so we want to make it as convenient for the public as possible. So with that, I think we are ready to listen. And so I'm going to ask Kristen to please introduce our first speaker.
All right. We are going to be calling those who have pre-registered first. I am noting that in the attendees list that the first 2 registered speakers that we have are not showing up. So I do want to remind people that you need to check the attendees section of the participant list here and make sure that your name is listed properly. The first 2, I'm afraid that I'm not sure if it's Ming So, S-O-E, but if that person could raise their hand, hit the raise hand option, that way one of our assistants can identify who you are in that list. The next person is Arnola Dixon, who I also don't see in the attendees list to be able to promote you to a panelist. Therefore, I need to move to Bill Satterfield from Wicomico County to be our first speaker tonight. Mr. Satterfield, I'm going to promote you to panelist now. Please remember to unmute when you come onto the screen.
I'm here. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Your video is not displaying.
All right.
You can turn on your video camera as well if you'd like.
Well, probably you only need to hear me. Seeing me won't be any advantage.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I'm a resident of Wicomico County. I've been a resident of Maryland and Wicomico County since 1987. I've lived in 2 houses, each about 5 miles from the other. And during some of those years, I was in Legislative District 38. Now I'm in District 37. I don't know if it's the A or the B, it's the one with the 2 members. I think the system of having this hybrid 3-member districts, 2-member districts with a sub-district, 1-member district is illegal. And to the gentleman who served on the redistricting commissions in the past, it's a wonder. I'm baffled how that's allowed to happen because of the 2 Supreme Court cases I'm a little bit familiar with. 1962 U.S. Supreme Court Baker versus Carr, where the Supreme Court held that each vote should carry equal weight regardless of the voter's place of residence. And then the 1964 Supreme Court ruling, Reynolds versus Sims, that said legislative chambers have to be apportioned according to population. My concern is if I live in a single member district, I can vote for one person, one vote. That's fair. If I live in a 3-member district, I can vote for 3 members of the General Assembly. That's not fair. That person in the 3 district has 3 times the power of the person in a single member district. And with the 2-member district, with the sub-district, again, there's inequity. One person can vote for 2 members of the General Assembly. And that's just not right. Everybody should have 1 vote for 1 person or 3 votes for 3 persons. And how it's been allowed to propagate with this hybrid system for decades is baffling to me. Where the lines are drawn, I don't really care. I'm not in the topography and cartography, but I am concerned about equal opportunity of residents of this state to have an equal vote with everybody else. 1 man, 1 vote. That seems to be the principle of our country. With this system we have in Maryland now, I don't see that happening. And so it's just unfair to have 3 votes by 1 person, 1 vote by another. Those are my points. And I thank the commission for considering my views and hope that I hope, I understand that the governor's mandate for this commission was to come up with a single district plan. If that's the case, I agree with that wholeheartedly. So as the sportscaster Mal Campbell gets to say in Washington, my time is up. I thank you for yours.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I will call the next speaker, and then Mr. Satterfield, I will move you back to the attendee list. Again, you might see a message. Don't worry, don't push a lot of buttons. You're just being moved back to the attendee list. The next speaker I have is also not listed in the attendees section. So if Ethel Brown from Washington County has joined us this evening, please raise your hand so that one of our staff members can identify you in that chat box. Next then on the list is Kathleen Bangert from Talbot County. I am making you a panelist now.
I see Karen Cook's name appearing.
Okay,
Kristen?
that must have just gone down to one. Hold on. Kathleen Bangert is not showing up now.
She's raising her hand.
Okay. Maria, are you able to see her? I don't have her any
I see
longer
her,
in my-
her name is up now,
Okay, great.
but
But we
we,
still have Karen Cook. So we need
I'll
to-
go ahead and move her out.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, Ms.
yes,
Bangert,
Ms.
thank you.
Bangert.
Okay. Is it okay to start?
Yes, please begin.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Kathleen Bangert, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters of the Mid-Shore, I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. The League is the nation's oldest nonpartisan voter education and advocacy group. Our local Mid-Shore chapter includes Caroline, Dorchester, and Talbot counties. We begin by commending Governor Hogan for establishing this commission as the keystone of the 2021 state redistricting process. This nonpartisan approach will help to promote fair and effective representation in the Maryland General Assembly and the House of Representatives. We also deeply appreciate your commitment in taking on this weighty and time-consuming responsibility of creating fair and impartial district maps. My brief comments tonight speak to equity, flexibility, and opportunity. The Eastern Shore is a region of rich geographic, demographic, and cultural diversity. But sometimes it seems that there are two Eastern Shores, one that Forbes magazine celebrates as the New Hamptons, and another where frontline workers in the poultry industry are at ground zero for COVID-19 epidemics. Our state league has created maps that overlay hard to count tracts from the 2020 census with communities that rank high on the Center for Disease Control's Social Vulnerability Index. These maps show that all too often, undercounted communities are also underserved. While all voices must be heard, some must be amplified. For the sake of equity, as new maps are drawn, we must all work together to engage these communities. Next, we recommend flexibility as you consider the question of single versus multi-member districts. It is our position that in some situations, multi-member districts better promote full minority representation and preserve political and community boundaries. We hope you will factor this into your deliberations. Finally, we are grateful that even with your tight schedule, you are hosting these listening events. Given the understandably short notice for tonight's meetings, many of our neighbors who would like to participate are not able to. Please continue to remind the public that citizens from anywhere in the state have the opportunity to provide input at any of the listening sessions. In closing, I thank you once again for undertaking this important work. We share with you a joint aspiration for a redistricting process that will become a model for Maryland and possibly other states for decades to come. When you succeed, we all succeed. We stand ready to assist you in any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bangert, and thank you for that reminder to anyone who perhaps could not make tonight's listening tour. They're open to anybody. It's just that we tried to group certain areas together, but anybody can attend any of the listening tours. Are open to the public. So hopefully people will spread that word to maybe friends or neighbors who weren't able to attend tonight's session. All right, Kristen, is it Ms.
All
Cook
right,
next?
thank you. Yes. So the next two speakers I have, again, I cannot identify in the attendees list. If you could check your name and or raise your hand so we can identify where you are in the list. With that, the next speaker I have is Senator Mary Beth Carosa. I am making you a panelist now.
Welcome, Senator Carosa. We just need you to go off mute and show your video. There you go. Go ahead. Welcome.
Well, good evening. I want to, first of all, I want to thank all of the commission members. Introduce myself, Senator Mary Beth Carosa. I represent District 38, which includes all of Worcester County, all of Somerset County, which I like to point out includes an island, Smith Island. You need a plane or a boat to get there, and half of Wicomico County. Before being elected to the Senate, I also represented District 38C as a delegate, which is a single member district. And again, I did want to thank you all, first of all, for serving, because this is a public service that our commission members are so dutifully performing for all of the state of Maryland. And I also want to thank Governor Hogan, because he did make a commitment to establishing this independent Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission with a commitment for fair legislative and congressional maps and a transparent process. And I think that's really important. And you're starting by listening, and we are most grateful. I also wanted to just share my support for a single member districts, having represented a single member district. I can speak to the effectiveness of serving my constituents in that capacity, and also wanted to point out and request that the commission keep the Eastern Shore together when you're going through the process, that we not be split up in the process to perhaps achieve other goals. It's been mentioned by other speakers about the opportunities and challenges we have on the Eastern Shore. And so those are the two main points that I wanted to mention tonight. And I do plan to continue to take advantage of the opportunities you're offering to all of our citizens. And again, I want to thank all the commission members for your public service.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate
Thank you.
your time. Kristen?
Yes, the next individual I have on the list, again, I cannot find in the attendees list. So therefore, we will move next to Demba Ndaye. I apologize if I've mispronounced your name, but I am now making you a panelist.
Okay. Demba Ndaye, would you like to
I'm
begin?
just unmuting.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
I'm here. Oh, yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. 1 second. Okay. All right. I think, yeah. Is it? I think it's good here.
You're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Thank
good, yeah.
you. Welcome.
All right. Thank you very much for the group and commission and all attendees. Thank you very much. And for the great state of Maryland. And beside after all those who just came after highlighting all those inconsistencies found out in the mapping and the districting as we know it, beside those inconsistencies on actual districting and mapping alike, it's safe to assume that such achievements we have and we live by are not self-executed. My point would be just to focus for this commission to focus more on the information and outreach needed to get more people informed, interested in this kind of activity involving the very decisions that's going to be taken into their communities where they live. And as we speak today, in many regards, we seeing a reversal on many areas of achievements in democracy in America, be it reversing local decisions on voting, police funding, and all of those. Basically, what I'm saying is this commission at this time needs to focus more on better outreach and communication to get more people involved in this process. In my case, I just get the information 2 days ago. It was just so short notice, and I think the commission would do better in the future to make sure the information will be shared properly so that the diversity in the state of Maryland in this Eastern Shore will be reflected in the attendees overall. That was my point. Thank you very much, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The next individual on the list is Muir Boda from Wicomico County. I am now promoting you to a panelist.
Okay, please unmute yourself, Muir Boda.
Got it.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all
Thank
right.
you. My name is Muir Boda. I'm the Vice President for the Salisbury City Council. I live in Salisbury, Maryland. And I want to thank you all for your service and for participating in this panel. It's always good to see Walter Olson involved with something. He's a good guy. You know, I've been on the Eastern Shore for most of my life. I'm from Tillman Island, and I do encourage the panel to, number one, support the single member districts. I think that's vital. The confusion and oftentimes between delegates who are covering large areas. I think there's always confusion about who our delegate is when they have more than one. If you've got one, it's easy to know who the person is that you need. Congressional districts, I think, again, the state as a whole needs to focus on communities of interest and maintaining contiguous congressional districts, not chopped up districts, not districts that go from one side of the state to the other nearly. In 2012, I ran for Congress, and it's a 6.5 to 7 hour drive from Ocean City out to Taneytown. And Ocean City and Taneytown have completely different issues. So I think that's something, when you look at the districting for the first district, I think maybe looking for a title district where it does include part of Southern Maryland, because we have a lot in common with that area of the state. And so those are the two key points that I would put out to the panel. And once again, thank you for your service, and looking forward to seeing some good results.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The next individual on our list is Bernadette Kennedy from Wicomico County. I am making you a panelist now.
Welcome, Ms. Kennedy.
Hi. Hi, can you?
Hi.
Hi.
We can see you and hear you.
Okay, good. Great. Let me say, and I hate to stutter, I just saw the notice about this today from our census group. And when I saw the word redistricting, I immediately got on. I am from Wicomico County on the lower Eastern Shore, and very concerned about redistricting because whatever is done in the state will ultimately affect what is done in our local governments. And right now, as I've heard before from many of the speakers, we're cut up and jagged, and for various historical reasons that has happened. And so I guess I'm here also learning as I go along. I'll be continuing to listening, but just remember, whatever is done in that state is going to affect what happens, especially on the lower shore. Once again, where communities live next door to each other, but are very different culturally and, different, just so different in many different ways. And so it's going to be hard making sure that everybody is represented equally. Okay. And I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Thank you for your testimony. Kristen?
Yes, I am looking for the next one here. Peter Talley, I do not have you on this list, I'm afraid. So we need to move to the next one, which is.
Peter's on the list. He's got his hand up.
Are you able to pull him up? He's not showing up on my list.
Yeah, he's got his hand up under attendees.
Okay. Are you able to promote him, Maria?
I am. Let me do that.
Thank you.
Peter is a panelist, Kristen.
Thank you.
Mr. Talley? You have to take yourself off
Okay.
mute.
Okay, I'm off. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can't see you. I don't know if you want us to see you.
It doesn't matter to me, no.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, yes.
My name is Peter Talley. I'm a private citizen, former middle school teacher and nonprofit director, and I live in Caroline County. Also, I write a column in the Star Democrat newspaper called An Independent Point of View. I've been advocating for nonpartisan redistricting for many years through the paper and other ways as well. I fully support the efforts of this commission and commend all of you for the work you're doing for this effort, which, as far as I'm concerned, promotes democracy first and foremost. Because the way that our districts in Maryland are drawn, basically hundreds of thousands of votes are devalued because the districts are not competitive by design. So I have a lot of passion for this particular topic. My main, one question I have is where is the commission going from here? Seeing as Maryland does not have a provision for initiative on the ballot, this would be a direction that many other states that have implemented nonpartisan redistricting have gone in that direction. I'm wondering if there are any ideas about what might be done to include initiative as a process used in Maryland. And the other comment that I want to make just in closing is that as an independent, the other area where I feel like independents are frozen out of the political process is in the primary area. And with closed primaries in Maryland, which is dictated by the political parties, independents don't have a voice in who they vote for in the general election. And more people are registering as independents in Maryland and across the country. Over 50% of millennials right now in our country identify as independents. So I'd like to know if there are any plans to move on for additional structural political reform. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Talley. And as we noted, we're listening tonight, so we're not doing a Q&A. So because that would take us in a whole other direction. So tonight we're listening to the constituents in the Eastern Shore and others. So thank you for speaking to us tonight. Kristen, who do we have next?
We have Moonyin, Jackson, Amos, or Amy. I apologize if I've mispronounced. I am promoting you to a panelist. Please be sure to unmute.
Moonyin, you are muted and we cannot see your video. So if you want to unmute. We need you to unmute in order to hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go. All right,
can.
now we can. All right, we're cooking.
Boy, I
All
tell
right,
you.
go ahead.
This modern technology is more than I can handle.
I know, it's a pain.
Well, you know, like some of the others have said, I came to this understanding of the meeting kind of late, and that's part of my own responsibility because I have been engaged in the political process for many years, but I had to take a break. But one of the things that I am hopeful that this commission will do is a better outreach. I know, of course, I live in Talbot County, and there needs to be discussion on the local level about what the single member district or the multi-member districts would do and impact our particular communities. And many people don't want to get on a hearing or become a part of a process when they haven't had any real local information that can be shared. And I don't know if there's a process, but there is one representative, Kim, I'm sorry to not saying your last name, but you're in Dorchester County. It would be really nice if you had the time to organize or some kind of local discussion group so that we can be more informed about how either a decision that's made and anyhow the maps are drawn impacts us in our locality. So, you know, I don't know really what the impact would actually be for the population that I'm most concerned about. We need more representation from the African American community, for example. And I know that this is not your focus on the political party or political process right now, but the bottom line is each of us is interested in trying to make sure that our voices are heard or part of the discussion for the final analysis. So I appreciate the effort of this commission, and I plan to tune in and maybe down the line, if I have something more concrete to say, I would submit that. But thank you for taking my input.
Thank you so much for being here tonight and taking the time to give your opinion. Appreciate that. Kristen?
Thank you. The next individual we have registered through chat, and the name is Rana Kamar. I am promoting you to a panelist.
All right, Rana Kamar, if you please unmute yourself. And we do not see you. There you go. Oh, there you go. All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me. I have issue for speaker because I am near Baltimore empty. I have issue for speak issue.
Rana, would you like to send written testimony? Would you prefer to send written testimony?
Yes.
Okay, that would be wonderful. You can send that to the email is on our or the email that you would send that to is on our website at redistricting.maryland.gov. And the email is redistricting.commission@maryland.gov.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rana. Thank you for coming in tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Right, Kristen?
Yes, so there are a couple more people who were not available when we first signed up that I just need to see if they've come in and if these people could raise their hands so we can identify them. Ming So, S-O-E, from Washington County. The next one is Arnola Dixon from Queen Anne's County. Ethel Brown from Washington County. Vontasha Sims from Charles County. Janet Allen from Baltimore City. And Sean Matthews from Queen Anne's County. If those individuals could go to raise hand and identify yourselves in the attendee box, that would be very helpful. If you bear with us one moment, we will see if we can find them. Not seeing any hands being raised. Just reviewing this list again to see if anyone has put their last name in first so that we don't miss anyone. It appears that we have everyone covered who has registered and attended to speak. Not seeing any hands up. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we have called upon everyone who has registered to speak and those who have registered to speak within the chat box. Maria, can you confirm this, please?
Yes, that is confirmed. There's no others in the chat.
Thank you very much. With that, Dr. Hetherington, I will turn it back to you.
All right, just a reminder for those of you who may have tuned in tonight, if you wish to provide testimony after tonight's meeting, you should send written testimony to redistricting.commission@maryland.gov. So feel free to do that. So we want to thank everyone who tuned in and also to the many people who testified this evening. A recording of the proceedings will be posted to the redistricting website, which I just mentioned, and that should happen within 2 business days. A transcript of these proceedings will be posted as well. And again, thank you to all of the commissioners for your time this evening and your commitment to the process. We will be doing this for quite a number of months, and there is true value in listening to the constituents of the state of Maryland, and we learn a lot from you. So thank you to the commissioners and thank you to the audience. So with that, I want to let everyone know that our next meeting is this time next week for the Northern Maryland area, which is Carroll, Cecil, and Harford counties. That would be June 16th at 6 p.m. We appreciate anyone tuning in. Even if you tuned in tonight and want to keep tuning in, feel free to do that. So a learning process for all of us. So with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and with that, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and thanks again, Kristen. Good night,
You're very
everybody.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Appears we still have some attendees. John and Maria, I'm going to stay on for just a moment more. Getting a couple of emails, just want to make sure that we have everything covered.